Hi everybody, I'm Bill Sanders and this is WatchArtSci, the art and science of watch collection. Today what we're going to do is that we're going to be taking a look at what I call the Hunter's Collection. Uh, the Hunter's Collection was sent in by David, and David's collection is based on a certain type of unique experience that David has had. I don't know if I don't think David wants me to talk about everything. It's nothing scandalous, but so I'm just going to say it's a hunter's collection. Now, today I have on my 1968 Patek Phillipe Calatrava. Now, this little watch was the kind of watch I think that David knows how to find. He's a hunter. He knows where to look and how to find the kind of watch that the person who sold it and the person who bought it had no clue what its worth is. And so we're going to take a look at David's collection and talk about it. Now, the first two at the top, the Royal Oak by Audemars Piguet and the Complications Overseas by Vacheron Constantin, are like two of the Holy Trinity. I mean, you got 2/3 of the Holy Trinity there. They can have, my Patek Philippe will make the third one. And both of those watches are iconic. I think that the Royal Oak is a bit more iconic than the Overseas. The Overseas is sort of iconic with a small I, whereas I think the Royal Oak for what I'll call a near sports watch. And the reason I call it a near sports watch, it was that and the Patek Philippe and Vacheron Constantin decided that they had to come up with a sports watch. And the Nautilus that Patek Philippe has, they recently had some kind of congratulatory celebration for it. And so it's turned out to be very important watches. Now, the Royal Oak is at the center of Audemars Piguet's production for the last several years because it's so popular. And I don't blame him. It's a great looking watch, and it's one that somewhere on my list, I don't know where, I've got enough watches on the list to begin with. The Overseas is one that I really like because I've always liked the Overseas. I have my own. I have what's called an OS1. I'm pretty sure, I mean, that's sort of the first set that they came out with. And the one that David has, I think is in the second generation. But boy, look at that. It's got 3 complications, 3 subdials, and a date. Very nice looking watch. Now, in the center is a Rolex. And it's I'm not sure what year it's from, and I have no idea what the movement is. But the movement, you can bet, is a Rolex movement. The Ebel is more of a jewelry watch, in my opinion. Not a fashion watch. It's definitely not a fashion watch, but it's more of a jewelry watch, and so is the Cartier. Now, these may belong to David's mom because he included some of them too. And they're both very nice looking watches. I don't think the Ebel does, but I think the Cartier does. And the Ebel is for a guy's dress watch is a very good one. I mean, it has a lot of style to it. I mean, that's not the kind of thing that you're going to wear at the kind of occasion where you'd whip out your Royal Oak or your Overseas, and it's really nice. The Rolex is another dress watch that I like. I like dress watches, even though this is the way I look most of the time. But I'll wear a dress watch no matter what I'm wearing. Probably inappropriate. Anyway, this is a collection of very carefully and well selected watches, and I can imagine David going into a pawn shop or several pawn shops and waiting to find the right one. Not long ago, I went into a pawn shop, and what they had there was not, they weren't even low horology. I think most of them were quartz, and uh, even that I wasn't sure about. But this is a really neat collection, and it shows what you can do if you're willing to spend some time out, really doing some treasure hunting. I was going to call it the Treasure Hunters Collection, but then I thought, well, I'll just call it the Hunters. If I call it the Stalkers Collection, wouldn't quite sound right. And but this is a very, very cool collection. David had mentioned in one of the comments is that when he saw my collection, he said, "Oh, it's the kind of watches that he's interested in." I can see that right here, very much in this collection, and I got a feeling that David probably did a lot better job than I did in acquiring those very nice pieces that he has in his collection. Okay, try to find one of these, Dave, and add that to it. And it's possible. I mean, look at these. These are really good watches that he's been able to find. Okay, that's all. See you next Friday, and then next week for another collection view. This has been Bill Sanders and WatchArtSci.